All right, welcome back to the And One Sports Podcast. My name is Riley Viss, alongside with Blake Parks. We are coming out of Week 4, also known as Christmas break, and we are very excited for the second part of the season, as the players I'm sure are as well. So today's agenda, we will look at the conference standings, the top 3 scorers and rebounders of each conference, the top 15 of 1A and 2A, and we will also touch up on 3A local teams, and then we will touch up on this week's game of the week that we will be attending Thursday and Friday, or Friday. We haven't determined yet if we want to go to both yet. But let's hop right into it. The conference standings. Let me pull that up real quick. All right. We will start out with the Lakes Conference. Staying in first, these are all the same as last week. We did not change anything because nothing happened. Nobody played, so these are going to be the same. I will run through the Lakes Conference real quick. We have Spirit Lake at first, Western Christian at 2, Spencer at 3, Cherokee at 4, Storm Lake at 5, and Estherville Lincoln Central at 6. Nothing surprising here about this year's conference, really. I mean, Spirit Lake and Western are at the top. Spencer and Cherokee are here at 3rd and 4th, which is really usual, and then Storm Lake and Estherville Lincoln Central are towards the bottom. Storm Lake is actually playing very well against some of these better teams there before the Christmas break. We'll see how they do coming out of Christmas break, but they did end the first half of the season pretty strong.
All right, then we'll slide over to the War Eagle. At number 1 sits West Sioux. Number 2, we have Remsen St. Mary's. 3, we got South O'Brien. 4, Unity. At 5, we got Hinton. Harris Lake Park to follow at 6. HMS to follow at 7. Galen Catholic at 8. Trinity at 9. MMCRU at 10. And to round it out, we have Akron at 11.
Once again, we will categorize each part of this conference. We have our top 4 with West Sioux, Remsen St. Mary's, South O'Brien, and Unity. I'm actually going to split this one up now. I have West Sioux and Remsen St. Mary's kind of standing out by themselves, with South O'Brien and Unity battling for that 3rd and 4th position. Unity and South O'Brien aren't really quite good enough to take down West Sioux or Remsen. We thought South O'Brien was going to be better this year, as most of the state did, but turns out they didn't really come out and play like they were supposed to. Is it recording?
Yeah.
All right. But Hinton and Harris Lake Park, they're going to battle for 5th and 6th the rest of the year. Not much change there with HMS or Unity popping up too much. HMS Galen Catholic and Trinity are going to sit there and battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th. And MMCRU and Akron Westfield will be battling for that 10th and 11th position because they just aren't good this year in a tough conference. This is probably the strongest this conference has been in quite some time.
Yes.
Because if you remember last year, HMS wasn't nothing. Galen was something, but they rounded out the 5th position with Unity, and that was it. Nobody else was good. Harris Lake Park was awful. Hinton struggled a lot. And Trinity is just Trinity, and how they can get some real prospects coming in there, which is really tough for them because they are a private Christian school, a very small private Christian school in Hall, Iowa. That does not help them at all.
And also, I think that at the top, if South O'Brien can figure out and win games, they can maybe fight for the maybe 2, maybe 1, but I think it's either going to be West Sioux or Remsen. And later this year, we will be going to a Remsen St. Mary's versus West Sioux game, and I think those two could potentially flip-flop, but I don't really see it, as West Sioux is a dominant team, and they're just tough to beat. Remsen, I think they can give them a run for their money. That would be a great game we'll go to, but I think I honestly think Unity and South O'Brien, they could potentially flip-flop by the end of the year.
South O'Brien does have a tough schedule coming up. They also have a very easy schedule at the same time. They will finish their season out with tough games against Remsen St. Mary's at Remsen this time. They will face West Sioux and Boyden Hall back-to-back games against West Sioux and Boyden Hall, Friday and Saturday games. So you go out there and you play a very, very strong, physical, aggressive West Sioux team, and then you got to go play Boyden Hall, who's very fundamental and will pick you apart if you are not ready to play. So I look for 2 losses there, and I'm going to say Boyden Hall has a huge advantage there. I will take, this one has Boyden Hall by 2. I'm going to take Boyden Hall by 15, maybe pushing 20, depending on how South Bryan plays against West Sioux. Because West Sioux is going to make them super tired, and they probably won't come ready against Boyden Hall. That game is at Boyden Hall. Yeah, at Boyden Hall, and we will for sure be there.
And I won't necessarily give them the 15. I mean, yeah, I think they're a good team, but I think 15's kind of pushing it because Boyden Hall also has the back-to-back, so I think both of them, they could be tired, and I just don't think that 15 will, I mean, don't get me wrong, Boyden Hall is a good team. I think they can get the 15, but I think it's pushing it for me a little bit, but I will give them between 5 and 10.
Boyden Hall actually comes out of a game against George. So they both come off against tough teams. So I'm changing my bias on this one. I'm changing my answer on this one. Boyden Hall versus South Bryan. I don't think that game, the winner of that game, I don't think the best team will probably come out on top. It won't prove who's really better. Both teams are going to be tired. It's in the middle to the end of this season, and nobody really cares anymore. They just want to get to the playoffs. The season's starting to lag on, and you're facing a really tough team after facing another really tough team the night before. Very tough game there. Boyden Hall is favored by 1.2. And now we will talk about the Siouxland. We will keep MOC tied or at the top of the Siouxland because they have no reason to fall to second as of now. Boyden Hall unfortunately lost by, what was it, 2, 4? They lost by 3 in the first game of the year, and they're going to stay at second. Then we got George at third. They have a top tier of those 3 teams, but it's mainly Boyden Hall and MOC, and then George just sits there by themselves at 3 probably for the rest of the year. And then 4th will be West Lyon. 5th is Okoboji. And then 6th is Rock Valley. They're kind of in a tier themselves too. I think Rock Valley comes out on top of that tier because West Lyon has a very good start. They are 4-2 right now. But they have a very good start to this season, but I don't think it's going to really keep going. I think they have a pretty easy schedule to start out the season. And Rock Valley's 3-3 right now with a very tough schedule. They lost to Okoboji, who we thought was a little bit better. They're struggling right now, but still a good team. They have 2 D1 prospects. And then Boyden Hall and MOC. They lost to arguably 3 top teams in the conference at the beginning of the season.
And they didn't lose to them by much. They lost to Okoboji by 3. They lost to, I think, MOC by 3. Let's have a look. They lost by 5. And that was an overtime loss. And then they lost to Boyden Hall by 10. So they're not losing by much. But a loss is a loss. But yeah, I also think they'll come out top of that tier. Just because of their tough schedule at the start of the year. I think they're starting to figure out who they are. And I think that this next half season will be fun to watch.
And to round out the bottom of the conference, in a league of their own, it is Central Lyon at 7, Sioux Center at 8, Sheldon at 9, Sibley at 10. Those 4 are going to be battling for the bottom the rest of the season. Sheldon can go out there and beat anybody on any given night. They can get hot, they can be cold. Depends how they come out and play. They have 2 shooters, and if they can't shoot that night, they will lose by 30. And then Sibley, they're not a bad team. I didn't think they were actually 0-5, but they are sure enough 0-5. They lost to Boyden Hall at Sioux Center, big gym, long drive. They lost at Sheldon to a very hot Sheldon team at home. They lost at Okoboji, a very short drive for them. And then they lost versus MOC. 5 very tough games. And Sibley is not bad this year. Don't let their 0-5 record put them down. They lost to their worst losses to Sioux Center and Sheldon, and that was both on the road, and they looked like they did not come out and play. Their offense was not there, scoring 49 and 52. Starting out the season, scoring 31 against Boyden Hall against a very stout defense. But it's a Siouxland. If you can't come out and play offense and defense, your team will probably not win. But now we will bounce over to the top score of each conference real quick. Looking at the Siouxland, the leading scorer is Jamison Helmers out of Okoboji at 22.2, remaining on top because nobody else has played. Top rebounder is out of Georgia Little Rock, Matt Haken at 12.3, and that rounds out your Siouxland Conference for the first quarter of the season.
And then we'll jump over to the War Eagle. At the top of the scoring, we got Bryce Kopic from West Sioux with 24.9. And then I'll just put in second place, that West Sioux, Hunter Deckers, 24.2. And then for rebounding, we have Tori Heinen with 10.1.
He's out of Trinity Christian. I still think that's impressive because he leads by 2.5 rebounds over second place.
Mm-hmm.
Now we look at our top 15 in 1A and 2A, and we will touch up on 3A because we have some teams in the Northwest Iowa region competing for that first spot.
Mm-hmm.
But we will take a look at your 1A teams. Remsen St. Mary's is first at 6-0. Last week they were also first. They don't move, and they are one of the only undefeated teams with an actual schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Montezuma, they are in second at 6-0 as well. They were second last week as well. The top 5, the top 10 does not move because nobody played. Silly me. But that is your top 2. Both teams are 6-0. Remsen St. Mary's at first, Montezuma at second. Coming in third is Bishop Garrigan at 7-1. They are actually a very tough physical team. I heard they are very fun to watch. So hopefully they make it down to state so we can watch them. And then 7-0 Easton Valley. I really don't think Easton Valley is terribly tough this year. I think they just have for the most part, easy schedule. They're undefeated, yes, but let's take a look. Their best win, they beat Springville, who is number 12 in our rankings this week, which is a very impressive win. They proved me wrong. And then they have a 33 win and a top 35 win. So really not bad wins, just not great wins. That win over Springville is a great win. It was on the road and they won it by 10. Impressive win there for Springville. Easton Valley. Jeez. Coming out in fifth is Lake Mills at 5-1. Their one loss is going to come to, let me get that up here. Their one loss comes to a Bishop Garrigan. Number 2 in 1A.
No, it's it's different.
Number 3 in 1A. There's different rankings here. But they lost by 7. They were supposed to lose by 7. They lost by 7. That's a good loss. They lost on the road to a number 3 team in 1A.
Mm-hmm.
Good loss there. All right, now we will bounce over to the bottom 5, and we will have Blake say those.
All right, so at number 6, we have Martinsdale St. Mary's. At 7, we have Wacko. If I'm not pronouncing it right, my bad. I don't go to school.
I don't think we can pronounce it any differently. If you go to that school, you should probably change your name. Who names their school Wacko? But anyways.
Or at least comment down below what it's supposed to be pronounced like.
It's also Wayland, but they're undefeated. Is that what this says? Yeah, it does. Okay, they are 8-0. Very impressive start to the season.
And we'll jump. Number 8, we have South O'Brien. Number 9, West Fork. And at 10, rounding out the top 10, we have Madrid.
See, now South O'Brien stays at 8 despite their 5-2 record. They are the best 2-loss team in 1A, and it's showing as they're number 8. Their 2 losses come to West Sioux, who is number 4 this week in 2A, and number 1 in 1A, Remsen St. Mary's. So 2 really, really good losses, and they won't have to go through either team to go to state, hopefully. Maybe Remsen, but if they can split those up this year, that'd be pretty cool. I don't think it's going to happen, though. But starting on our top, number 11 through number 15, we have George Little Rock at 4-3, Siouxland Pride there. And at number 12, we have Springville, their 1 loss coming to a top 5 team in 1A. Number 13, we have Hinton at 5-2, War Eagle Pride there, along with another War Eagle Pride right behind them at 3-4. Harris Lake Park, they are by far the best team with a losing record. By far. This team is a very athletic team. We will actually watch them Thursday. We will talk about that later, though. And then rounding out the top 15, we have Newell Fonda at 4-3. They have some key losses. They also have some kind of disturbing losses that should not put them in the top 15, but that's why they're not in the top 10. That's why we rounded them out of the top 15, because 1A is back to 1A. There is only 5 teams that are going to contend for the title this year. It's not like last year, 2 years ago, where you had Northland, you had Boynton Hall, you had Des Moines, Grandview, you had all these teams. Some of them were recruiting, so they had extra talent there. And yeah, Van Meter was even 1A, I believe, a couple of years ago. So very tough 1A a few years ago. It's finally coming back to reality. 1A is back to normal, thankfully. And our others receiving votes, teams that aren't quite in there, but they have a good resume. We have a 6-1 Tama. Don't know their actual name. It's Lawton Brownson at 5-2, and Sioux Lane Christian at an undefeated 7-0. Impressive start for them, but they do not have a good resume, so they are not in the top 15.
All right, so now we'll jump to 2A, to the top 15. So the top 5, we have Comanche, who is 5-0. We got Monticello at 7-1. Trainer at number 3 with undefeated 7-0. West Sioux is at number 4 with an 8-0 record. And at 5, we have Beckman Catholic with a 7-0 record.
Pretty fun start of the season for 2A, as everybody in the top 5 is undefeated except for Monticello, which their only loss will come to a 4A school, Cedar Rapids, Washington. Not a bad loss there.
By 1.
At home too, so that's good. But they were supposed to lose by 5, 6. They only lost by 1. Not a bad game for them. That's a good loss. 4A school, I'm sure that's a bunch of big kids that you're going up against as a 2A school.
Mm-hmm.
Starting out, number 6 through 10, we have at 6, Boynton Hall, who is 5-1. Their only loss coming to number 9 in 3A, MOC Floyd Valley. Number 7, Northland. Nice start to the season for Northland at 6-0. They will probably go undefeated all season. We talked to Austin Hilmer, Northland's star player. And he said the season's going to start getting a little bit tougher here, but let's be honest, Austin, you're probably lying. You know it's a fairly easy schedule, but you guys will be ready when it comes to the state tournament. At number 8, Regina Catholic at 5-1. And number 9, Pella Christian at 4-2. Your best 2-loss team in 2A now. And another undefeated at 6-0. Ranked number 10 to round out the top 10, it is Dyke New Hartford.
And last week, they were not ranked.
So, not sure what's going on there with these rankings, but nothing happened unless
they found something that maybe sparked them to be in the top 10, but other than that, nobody played. So it must have just been a lot of thinking and a lot of research that must have wanted to put them up at that number 10.
Right. They actually got a win over number 10 of last week, and that's Applington Parkersburg to end out Christmas break, I believe.
So that's probably what put them up there.
That bumped them through.
All right, so we'll go to 11 through 15. We have Westward Granger at 6-1. At 12, we have Van Meter with 5-0. At 13, we have Dyersville Beckman at 7-0. At 14, we got Unity 4-2. And at 15, to round it out, we have Des Moines Christian with a 5-2 record.
And actually, it's Woodward Granger. I know it's actually kind of local team, so we want to make sure we get that right so you guys understand who you're actually talking about. Woodward Granger jumps up to number 11. Kind of surprised me too, I know. But hopefully they're a pretty tough team this year. Maybe they can make it to state.
And then teams receiving votes to be in the top 15, we got Panorama with the 5-1 record, Spirit Lake with the 5-2 record, and Rock Valley with a 3-3 record, but their 3 losses came to really good team. They came to number 9 in 3A, came to number 6, and came to
Okoboji. We're not sure.
They are not in our top 15. So.
Yeah, we are not sure where they are standing right now. They have some kind of upsetting losses. Yeah, I do not see them on here. Oh, they're all the way down here in the 30th position. They're not 30th. I would put them at like 25th or something. They're not that bad. It's just these guys look at stats and they are looking at Ogiboji as a team that's not that good, and they're losing to teams that have bad records in the Siouxland.
And they may be 30th or 25th or something like that now, but when Rock Valley lost to them, they were up in the top 20, top 15 maybe.
I believe they're in the top 15 in our rankings.
Yeah. So still three great losses. Our light just went out. Oh well. So I guess we'll just keep it going.
All right. But yeah, we have two teams rounding out the top 18, I guess, with Spirit Lake and Rock Valley. That is very exciting for us because we have a lot of local teams that we can go watch now.
Yes. And then we'll look at 3A for a couple teams that are local, that are in 3A in the top 10. We got Sergeant Bluff at number 4 with a 3-2 record. I'm not sure who those two losses came to, but I don't think they were terrible losses.
3-0. Then we also have MOC at number 9. They are 6-1. Their one loss coming to, I believe, Spirit Lake.
Spirit Lake by a few points, I believe.
I don't. Yep, it was Spirit Lake by 1 point on the road. I think it was neutral site, but it might have been at Spirit Lake.
I think it might have been at Spirit Lake.
Yes, sir. But anyways, we will try to find Sergeant Bluff. Let's go see who they're.
Let's click on 3A.
MOC is not playing anybody in 3A.
Because they're the only team around here in 3A.
Alright, Sergeant Bluff, Luton. Their two losses are coming to 4A, top 27 4A. Schools. Undefeated teams, actually. Council Bluffs, Lincoln out of Omaha, and Sioux City East out of Sioux City. Both teams are undefeated.
And they've they lost to Lincoln by 5, and they lost to Sioux City East by 7. So they're not getting blown out by these teams. So yeah, they're really great losses against 4A teams. Maybe I don't know if maybe they should have had points that they just couldn't convert, or if it was they're just really great teams they play.
Believe it or not, they were both in overtime as well. As we look at this. They were supposed to lose by 10 to Council Bluffs, Lincoln, and they lost by 5 in overtime. They were supposed to lose to Sioux City East by 5, 4.5, and they lost by 5. So, 7. Same thing. Anyways, that's actually a really, really, really good resume, and that's why they stay in your top 10, and that's why they're all the way up in 4th. Very fun team to watch there.
All right, so now we'll jump to the games that we're going to this week. Not sure if it's both Thursday and Friday yet. We'll let you guys know. But as of now, I believe we are going to Thursday night game, like George Little Rock at home against Harris Lake Park.
That is a 80% sure going to that because we need to go see how Harris Lake Park really is. We're hearing a lot of buzz about them, but we're also hearing that they're not as good as people think they are. Mm-hmm. They have 2 amazing scores, and I really want to go watch good basketball, you know. You don't get to see good basketball very often. But that game is Thursday. Your over-under is going to take me a few minutes. Our Friday game, we haven't quite decided yet, honestly.
We've got a couple games, and not sure if we're going to split his, go to Boyden Hall, and I might travel to Sibley to watch Rock Valley. Or we were thinking about, what game was it? George Little Rock at MOC.
Yes. And it makes it even harder now because since we're going to a George game Thursday night, I don't want to watch George 2 nights in a row.
Yeah. I'm
not going to lie. It's a 2-man show, and they're very slow-paced. But I do like watching MOC, Alex Van Kelsbeek. Mm-hmm. But we also have a chance to go to Boyden Hall at home versus Sioux Center to kind of see how Boyden Hall comes out of Christmas break. They are always 10 times better coming out of Christmas break because Mr. Francis, Coach Francis, let me tell you don't got no Christmas break. You are running your butt off all Christmas break. Trust me. Mm-hmm. New Year's Day, we had a 6 o'clock practice in the morning. Ain't no drinking before. That's a good coach right there. But anyways, we have 2 games that night. We will probably put it on our Snapchat and let you guys actually vote. There's also a Sibley Rock Valley game, but since Sibley's really struggling and Rock Valley is just trying to look to turn around their season, it's not going to be a fun game to go to. Rock Valley will probably win by 15 because yeah, they're going to come out with a spark in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
They need a win. Sibley, they're just kind of like, we haven't even won yet, so why go out there and put all of our effort out there for us to lose again? So, yeah, a lot of good games to keep an eye on Friday. Really cool to see all these good games coming out of Christmas break. But, yeah, we'll be putting it on our Snapchat and our Instagram and letting you guys decide what game we go to for Friday. But, yeah, Harris Lake Park and George, that's going to be a really fun game. I'm actually very excited for that because it's 2 scores versus 2 scores, 2 dominant scores going against each other. And, yeah, who do you got in that game?
I'm not sure. It depends on which George comes out. If we're going to see like they did at the beginning of the season with the 3 straight losses, or if we're going to see what we saw against Sioux Center and after that when they on their 4-game win streak. So, to be honest, I think I'm going to go George, but if Harris Lake Park plays them really well, rebounds, plays defense, I think they can take it on the road.
I have George by 10 in this game, but I know Harris Lake Park will probably come ready to play. It's not a long drive for them. I think it's like 20 minutes, maybe 25, maybe pushing 30. But they have 2 very, very dominant scorers, top 5, I believe, in the Lakes Conference. So that's impressive. So it's going to be a very fun game to watch. If they can box out Matt Haken and get him out of the paint, could be Harris Lake Park's game to lose.
I think I'll take. I'm not sure. I think I'll take George by 4.
Over under is actually George by 12, but that is not going to affect my decision as mine is 10. I'm not afraid of that. And if we go to that Boyden Hall Sioux Center game, who do you got there? I will take. You go first.
I'll take Boyden Hall in that one. Sioux Center hasn't really been playing like how people have been talking. We're hearing a lot of buzz, a lot of how good they're going to be this year again, even though they're losing people from last year. But they just really haven't showed us that they're ones that they should be picked.
What's your over-under on that one?
I will take Boyden Hall by 12.
I have Boyden Hall by 20 in this one. I really think they're going to come out in the second half of the season and just pound them. Over-under by the professionals is by 15.5. So we're meeting right in the middle there. And our other option game, we might be going to the George or MOC game. Who do you got there?
I don't know. This one's a tough one to even pick because MOC is a dominant team. George Little Rock is starting to win, so they're having more, not hype, but they're having more confidence in themselves, so I just don't know who I should pick. Honestly, I think I might take MOC on this one, but I don't think I'm going to take them by much unless Alex Van Kelsbeek can box out and not let Matt Haken grab many rebounds, as those two are the top 2 rebounders in the Siouxland right now. So I think that would be a fun one to watch. But I think I'll take MOC by, I'll go 6.5.
Over under is 7. Blake has him at 6.5. I actually have MOC by 12. I really don't think Matt Haken's going to be rebounding over Alex Van Kelsbeek. If you guys haven't seen Alex Van Kelsbeek go to a game,
he's a big dude.
He's massive. You think Hunter Decker is a big kid?
Hunter Deckers is not as tall as him, but he's a big dude. But if you look at Alex Van Kelsbeek, you'll think he's a college kid. But no, he is a high schooler.
Yeah, he makes me look like a little kid. Not tough to do. But anyways, that rounds out our holiday break podcast. I don't think we can call it a week 5 quite yet because that will throw off our weeks. So this is our week 5 our holiday break podcast, and this is Riley Viss alongside with Blake Parks and buckle in.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great second half of the year. So yeah, have a fantastic New Year's, and I guess we'll see him next year.
I was gonna say what?